Welcome to our panel here, and I know that this topic is of great interest to all of you in the audience, which is the excellence of technical education in India, the future of IITs, and how do we ensure that, excellent as they are, how do they keep becoming better and better going forward. Let me start by saying that we in PanIIT have had a task force on excellence of IITs. We have engaged with some of you. We have engaged with the minister. We are very keen on contributing on your efforts to make the IITs better and better. I know in the audience, Prem Garg is here, who is the chairman of our task force, and thanks to him, we have made some progress in this, and I hope that he will continue to contribute on this effort. So I'm going to say that Professor Tewari here will be chairing the session. I will going to ask him to make some opening comments on it, and then 2 or 3 minutes each for the other participants in the panel. And we have lots of questions, so we'll engage in a lively debate after that. So over to you, Professor Tewari.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for giving us this opportunity to be here and share our thoughts on this very vital thing. Future of IIT is true. In fact, in 1951, IIT Kharagpur came, and then within next 10 years, I think the other 4 IITs came into, and therefore, by 1961, we had 5 IITs. Over the years, the evaluation of the education, research, and talent across the globe has been seeing the fruit of what the IIT education has been. Today, all over the world, people are talk of IITs and the IIT graduates and their excellence, which wherever they are there, either in academics or in industry or in corporate houses. Now the question again comes to us. While they represent the best IITs, the best known educational institution in the world, which is IITs in India, why is that their rankings are not reflected in the same way? And these questions have been asked by everyone, including our president. On 18th of December this year, President of India was in IIT Kharagpur for the convocation, and she said that we do not find even any of the IITs in the top 50 in the QS ranking. And therefore, we are very much concerned about this ranking. We have been evolving. I can tell you that the IIT Kharagpur, IIT system has been evolving. The type of question papers which used to be there in 1960 when JEE started, over the years changes have taken place. Many things came on IITs, but I think IITs stood across. When the numbers swelled, we had a 2-stage examination system where screening test was there and then main test. And ultimately, when the number went high, when I remember in 2006, when I was the organizing chairman, the number was 320,000. And therefore, we wanted to have a single examination. And after that, the next thing happened about how we can utilize the computer-based systems, and it has been talked of. And over the years, now you know that it is a fully computer-based system. So we have been evolving. Even the course curriculum, if you have seen to all IITs, every 3 years, 4 years, we do change. And today, because of the national education policy which has come, I think the interdisciplinary nature of all the IITs have taken place. And everybody is now thinking. In fact, the implementation of national education policy has allowed us that any graduate in a particular department can take any course from any other discipline, which was not there earlier, but that has been opened. We have also said many other things related to the cross-breeding of information from one IIT to another IIT. That is yet to happen, but I think there is a possibility. The NITs came in too, and today out of 1,300,000 students which appear for JEE mains, we take about 200,000 for JEE advance. So still we have kept our separate, and we would like to say that out of those, just less than 2% come to the IITs. So while it is very difficult to get into IITs, and it has been also said that those who do not get into IIT get into MIT and other places, and it's a fact. It has been told by several people. I would not like to name. Warren Buffett is one of them. I think he must have said at various locations you have heard. But then why doesn't it reflect in that, as I said earlier? Now, we would like to ask our friends, and I would like to say that the various things that we have done with respect to the several stakeholders, the more important stakeholders are our alumni, as Rajat ji has said, our students, our faculty, our non-faculty, and in the industries. So what are our collaborations? What happens to the collaboration that we have today? What are the prospects of that? How best we can collaborate, because in the previous session we have seen that various aspects of G20 declaration has been taking place. And on that line, almost all the IITs have been working. But now since it has become very focused, I think we need to think and show the world that we do belong to a place where it should have been in the top 10 or 50 in the world. So I think with this, I would like to hear from all my friends as to what are the planning they have, so that we should be targeting somewhere and see that the talent which has been shown across the whole globe, irrespective of whether it's from the first generation IITs or the third generation IITs that we are talking of. I think the first generation IITs professors are manning the third generation IITs because they have the vision and they understand that how best we can take the talent. So with this, I will stop here, and I would like my friends to put on their views. Thank you.
Please introduce yourself and give us a short summary of what your thoughts.
Thank you very much. Myself, Rajiv Prakash. I'm director of IIT Bhilai. Professor Tewari said, and in fact, he raised very valid question about ranking. Well, we will talk later on. But before this, I think we should talk about how in coming years IIT should plan or come out. Now we are 23. Our presence are more or less in every state of our country. So from here, we can connect in a more better way with society, with local. And this is giving us a lot, not only to solving problems of society, but also taking the traditional knowledge from society, along with the modern technology, how we can go ahead. This is the one. Second, it is time to connect more and more with Tier 2 and Tier 3 engineering institutions, and also with schools. Our students coming from there only. So how to improve the quality, how to interact with them. This is another area where we should see and we should think seriously. I'm not saying that IITs are not doing several activities we are doing, but it should come in a more planned and organized way. Apart from this, there are several other areas where IIT should work: technology in agriculture, technology in fintech, technology in health. These also, IITs are involved, but in a better way, in a more planned way. With the degree courses, we should come up. IITs are now taking care of the various aspects, but as a university, it's time to come. So with these words, I think we will discuss more on various other issues. So let's.
So IIT Roorkee is not first generation, not second, but pre-generation.
Yeah.
Actually, it's the oldest engineering institution in the country. So,
thank you, Rajat, and thank you, PanIIT, for providing me the opportunity. I'm K.K. Pant, Director IIT Roorkee, and just to give the brief background, this is instituted in 1847. So we are running now 176 years of its establishment. So this is the oldest one in Asia, in that one. And having said that, this is the 7th number in IIT after 5, the second generation. We have more than 50,000 alumni who are spread all over the world. And when I was just discussing about generation 1, 2, and 3, and I was looking at the SWOT analysis, because that is very important, how to take an individual IIT and then join the hands with the other IIT with respect to their strengths, weakness, and that a kind of opportunity what to get by understanding the threats also. So it's a healthy competition, of course. But when we talk about the building, capacity building is one of the key areas for every IIT, whether it is Generation 1 or Generation 3. At the same time, recruitment of quality faculty and retention of these quality faculty is very important for every IIT. And this is one of the challenges, especially for Generation 3 to Generation 2, where the preference may be given sometimes the centrally located institutes. That is always a challenge, but we should not, I think, mind that, because that is also part of everybody should get the opportunity to take the better opportunity wherever they are. The important thing is that how we can improve the R&D activities in an institute. So IIT Roorkee has taken the lead. We have tried to understand what are the key areas of research for futuristic development, and we have started those kind of activities in our institute, like Center for Sustainable Development, something on rural development, because vocal for local, and then from this vocal for local to vocal for global, that is our motto. And we are now looking forward in terms of development of entrepreneurship skill among our undergrad, postgrad students. The purpose of that is that they should look at in terms of the development of their own industries. Instead of asking the jobs for the other, they should provide the jobs for the many. That is, I think, every IIT should think. And then in that way, when we look at this part, then the concept of whatever the Make in India concept or self-reliant IITs, that is very important. So we are looking forward from 20% where we are just our own self-reliancy and we are dependent 30 to 70% from the government funds. I think it should go in a 50-50 kind of partnership. That is the vision for 2047. We are looking for our IIT Roorkee, and I think all IITs are looking in that way, that the dependency from the government institutes, government organization, we should look at funding from the industries. And that is where the applied research is coming up in a big way. And now we are looking forward that all the research projects where our faculty members are involved, that should have the industrial component, so which can take to a market readiness level for all the projects from level that is what we call the TRL levels 3 to 9, and finally market readiness. Most important thing is that the curriculum revision, and curriculum revision should be at par with the industries, and I think for that the alumni role is very important. Those who are spread all over the world, I think PanIIT should take a lead that how the academic curriculum can be revised at par with the international level, because the competition is globally. And we are looking forward that how the national and international collaborations can be made among the institutes, and I think that is very important. So with these words, I stop myself here. Thank you very much.
So we are indeed privileged to have Mr. Saraf with us. He is not an IIT director, but he is a leading industrialist, and he has spent a lot of time in providing leadership to the IIT system. He's not only the chairman of IIT Bombay, but the chairman of IIT Jammu. So first generation as well as third generation, he's very involved in the issues with the ministry. So we're delighted to have you. Please.
Thank you, Rajat, for your kind words. A small correction there. My position as chairman of IIT Bombay and IIT Jammu is only, let's say, temporary. But my position as alumni of IIT Bombay is permanent.
Yes.
And I'm very proud of my heritage there. I'm more proud of being alumni of IIT Bombay than being a board member first and then the chairman. Anyway, having said that, the future of IITs, as your subject mentions, in one word, is bright. It is certainly bright because I could see in last 5 years, the kind of commitment that the government has for IITs is like never before. And we have Prime Minister who's been visiting each IIT turn by turn as his time permits. And he's scheduled to visit a few IITs in next 2 months. So this shows the commitment of the government, and it's also very inspiring. Having said that, I must compliment Professor Pant for bringing out some very relevant and important issues which would guarantee the sustainability of this brightness or improvement in the course of excellence. The most important thing is to have very bright educationalists as our professors and leaders in the IIT system. Sir, at the moment, there is a slight dent in meritocracy, and this needs to be corrected, course corrected, that at least as far as senior professors, let's say even associate professors and so on are concerned, the issue of merit should not be compromised under any circumstances. We can understand the societal requirements. It's a government-owned organizations, and of course, there are pushes and pulls and some kind of political connections also. But at the same time, merit cannot be compromised, and this we have seen in all the major international institutes. Sir, having said that, the next important thing is about innovation. In order to maintain the excellence continuously, innovation aspect is the most important, and this must be cultivated in the students right from the undergrad levels. And at present, an effort is being made by various programs, let us say off the main program. We have invention factory and we have innovation competitions and so on, which are breeding the spirit of innovation among the students, which is very important. But still, the most important innovation aspect can come only from the industry and nowhere else. So at the moment, an attempt is being made by all the IITs consistently to get industry connect. And one of the most important initiative there is Research Park, where the industry and IIT system gets connected very well. So in more connected you are with the industry, more innovative the student will get. Sir, apart from that, the last point that I want to make in this particular session is the cooperation, not among the IITs only, but as you rightly mentioned yesterday, it is Vasudev Kutumbakam. Therefore, even in the higher technical institutes, it should be Vasudev Kutumbakam, which means IITs need to cooperate, collaborate with the world-class institutions. And if you recall, in PanIIT, we did make an attempt to get our minister here, and we are trying hard. We are submitting papers to them, even from PanIIT, that what needs to be done to cooperate further. And for this, nothing can be more effective than our alumni, let's say in US or in Europe, who are in this education line, come back to some of the IITs, and we have system of professors of practice, adjunct professors, and then temporary assignments for the professor. All those various schemes are available, and I would appeal to our alumni PanIIT members here that they should seriously consider going to 3G IITs first. It is the 1G or to some extent 2G are able to attract already these, but we need to go to the 3G IITs. With these few suggestions, I would wait for your comments and questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gaur.
So I'm MS Gaur, Director IIT Jammu. We are 3G IIT, young IIT. So the topic says future of IITs. So our future lies in pursuit of excellence, innovation, and continued growth. We are aspirational and we will remain as such. But at the same time, while pursuing excellence, IIT campuses need to thrive with transformational and translational research, like Professor Pant also mentioned. Yesterday, I heard a very interesting term from Professor Ravi Godi, relevance and delivery for R&D. And that's become very important for all the new institutions where the funding is expected and we aspire for, typically large grants. So we have typically for younger IITs to attract talent, to generate talent. And the acquisition of talent is more challenging for typically when you are younger IITs. because you're competing with 1G and 2G as well. But at the same time, if we find our novel ways to cooperate and collaborate, given your context, things can happen. In fact, that we tried and we have been successful partly. We have created a new format where co-located institutions are working together for joint programs with like IIM and AIMS, and which has made us make an headway for multidisciplinary and cross-sectional work together. So 4 or 5 institutions in Jammu itself, because we didn't have much industry as of now, it start coming now. But in the meantime, we have to work together to find our critical mass in various domains where we would like to work in. And we have been successful last 2 or 3 years. And later on, NEP 2020, that National Education Policy, which Professor Tewari also mentioned, gave us a template where joint programs development can happen. One point I would like to mention for curation of new programs, all the institutions and IITs are talking about joint degree programs with universities abroad, but we are yet to start the joint degree programs among ourselves, and which is an opportunity because some of the new institutions have got very good infrastructure, but they don't have the knowledge sources and the senior faculty. So if they join hand together, it become a critical mix for us and critical mass where we can do magic. Thank you.
Obviously, there are a lot of questions, and we'd like to get your perspective on. But maybe I'll start with one which is happening through the years, which is that IITs are evolving from engineering schools to full universities. Now, this has been sometimes opportunistic, sometimes planned. I would love to hear your perspective on what is the future direction. I know IIT Kharagpur has a medical school, IIT Kanpur just started a medical school. Many have had business schools there and so on. So what's your perspective on taking IITs and becoming full-fledged, broad-based universities? Professor.
Well, I think this is very relevant. Initially, when IITs were started, they were only for engineering education. But over the years, if you see all the universities in the world, they have everything. And for that matter, because we know that IIT Kharagpur was started on the lines of MIT, where everything is there, but IIT Kharagpur, in those days, we had thought of various disciplines. And you can imagine that it was thought of agriculture. Today, we are talking of agriculture. Everybody is talking of agriculture, and AI in agriculture that we are talking of. Because as rightly said, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, when we are seeing, and we have seen in the COVID that how our country fed the medicines to the world as well as food as well. So in this regard, what I say that this is very relevant that some of the IITs, and I would say that IIT Kharagpur is definitely the #1 in this respect because it has departments, centers and schools, 54 in number, and academies. Because we have agricultural engineering, we have mining engineering, we have naval architecture, we have aerospace, and architecture as well. Then we have all other branches of engineering. We do have Academy of Leadership recently started. We have Academy of Classical and Folk Arts. We have Center of Happiness. And we have other centers of excellence which we have put. And in 1993, we had the management school started by Vinod Gupta. And then in 2006, we had the law school as well, which is not existing in any of the IITs. And then we do have some of the centers of excellence which are very relevant before we thought of the G20 declarations which have been given. In fact, we have the Industry 4.0, advanced manufacturing that we are talking of. We have advanced infrastructure, already working on that. Advanced transportation, we are working on EVs for a long time. Then we have advanced precision agriculture that we are talking today. We have been working in IIT Kharagpur for the last 70 years. And at the infrastructure that has been developed, you will find that all the agriculture universities top, either the vice chancellors or that, they have their root in IIT Kharagpur in this department as such. So I think definitely and then we have the School of Medical Science and Technology. So the variety of this is a good sign, I should say. Maybe not opportunities, but I will take that this is the requirement of the world today. Thank you.
Anybody else would like to comment on this particular issue?
Yeah, just one point I would like to add, because nowadays, right, the science, engineering, mathematics, and medicine, right, this is the amalgamation. If you want to develop a technology, I think the combination of STEM, what we call, including the medicine. And when we talk about the application, it's a kind of the product development, something where I feel that when you talk about the product development, a lot of electronic components are there, a lot of mechanical, a lot of devices, sensors, and there the engineering knowledge is required. And simultaneously, if we club it with the medical, like in Roorkee, we have the collaboration with AIMS Rishikesh as well as AIMS New Delhi. And we are developing a lot of healthcare products for them. We are working on drone technology, which is basically being used in Uttarakhand area, because that Uttarakhand area is geologically a little bit different than other part of this, so very fragile. There needs the remote area, right, tier 2, tier 3, yesterday we were talking. I think the IITs should look forward for those kind of areas where the societal connectivity is poor, and we need to work for them. For that, I think those kind of interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary research is required.
I'm going to maybe raise a quite difficult question. And that question is, in many ways, what we have heard in PanIIT as we are doing this task force is that the financial model of the IITs is not truly sustainable. Now, this is a big statement. I'm not sure whether it's true or not and how acutely you feel it, but you know it better than anybody else. But still, it's tied very much to the issue of autonomy. We'll come in a minute. But how do you feel about the financial model? Now, you know, any large university now has become very resource intensive. So is the financial model there to be sustainable? What are the good parts of the financial model? What are areas that need improvement? So,
You want me to answer that?
Please.
As a Marwadi businessman?
Yeah, please.
Then, you know, we value financial management more than anything else, at least in the corporate world. So having said that, I think time has come when the IITs also need to scratch their head and find out different revenue streams which are possible with the amount of resources that are available. What is missing little bit is the marketing. For example, consultancy. So you need to market the IPs that are available for consultancy, testing, making various kinds of reports, be it for government or private industry. So these revenue streams need to be sharpened, and a marketing force in each IIT needs to be created as a separate department. Like you have a department for raising funds, now it's a department for marketing funds. So,
Professor Tewari.
Yes, I think that's a very good opportunity for all the alumni I think we are talking of. And I heard that IIT Kharagpur has 80,000 plus alumni, and other IITs who have already crossed 60 years, and one is 176 or so that we are talking of IIT Roorkee. I think there is an opportunity here for the financial model that very rightly being put by Rajat, is that we should be talking of creating a financial model, and we see that all the MITs and other big houses, they have a lot of funding for research. And while it's true that I agree with what Saraf ji has said, that we are going to the industries, but still I think there need to have more and more collaboration with the industries on various topics and various areas, and the financial model has to definitely work. And this is where the teaching also has to change. Paradigm shift has to take place so that our young, bright students could be involved with bigger projects where the talent of those people could be utilized for coming out with good and innovative solutions. And these are the people who will take TRL 1 to TRL 9 and go to the industries. So I think these avenues to create a good financial model with the alumni, our bright young students, and the industry together. I think NSF and NRF, which has been initiated, is a good step towards. But I think the alumni, I'll request the alumni to pitch in, and here is the opportunity for alumni to help all the IITs for that matter. Thank you.
Anyone else, please?
As far as the R&D part is concerned, right, most of the IITs like IIT Roorkee and all these IITs, they are doing exceptionally good now and most of these projects are connected with the industry. So there is a 50% partnership like Government Funding Agency, Department of Science and Technology, DBT, there are many, right, similar. And industry also at the equal part of that, right, which is now going in a very good way. And that's what in the beginning I was talking that presently IITs are more or less 30% they are right self-reliant, 70% they are depending on the government fund. Now this is trend which is changing and we would like to see 50-50, something like that. And I think this a kind of applied research which has come now, right? And a lot of startup activities are coming up in that way. So IIT Roorkee itself has 150 startups, right? We are encouraging our young students and giving them up to 50 lakhs from our own funds, right? If the idea is good. So that is the right concept is going on. And I think the marketing is increasing. Alumni are now supporting and PanIIT I think definitely will do, right? Support and that will give the, I think, the public-private partnership which we are saying, that concept is also nowadays coming.
So, yeah, please.
But here the situation is a little different from 3G IIT to 1G IIT.
Okay.
The financial model. So as what the Professor Pant said, the 1G IITs, they are almost doing 30% as he is saying the contribution is coming. But in 3G IIT is difficult situation. The mass-wise also is small. So involvement of industry, here I am looking more help from our PanIIT side. Involvement of more industry, connecting us with more industry is required.
Great. I want to, you want to say?
I just wanted to add here that here is the opportunity for the first generation IITs to work with the third generation IITs, second generation IITs in these niche areas and have win-win situation on both sides. Thank you.
I want to, yeah, please.
I think just to add, couple of areas like what Professor Tewari said about agriculture, biotech, and medicine, health. We have co-location with other institutions also, like AIMS are working with us with joint programs, which are revenue streams for us, like IIM, IIT, and AIMS. So health management and disaster management, pandemic, preparation. We created a few programs. Initial traction was slow, but now it's picking up. That will create a stream, but it cannot entirely support the research what we are looking at, because research is expensive. For that, we need to create sizable endowments in time to come. But since, as I think Rajiv ji has already mentioned, that we are in project mode for next 5 years, we can handle it. But later on, we have to look at the cost model and different side, what we receive, what we spend.
One follow-up question is regarding autonomy. Now, anecdotally, we all of us engage with various administrations in IITs and professors and so on. While nobody would quite say that, but it does seem like that there is a fair degree of control or restrictions or by the government itself. With the saying that we are giving you the funding, therefore we can dictate what you should do, whether it's tuition, how much you can charge, what you can pay professors, what you can do, etc. So that is one feeling. Now, we've also, the situations are quite different between IIMs and IITs because of the investment required in IITs compared to IIMs, etc. Nevertheless, they were also first quite closely controlled, and it has evolved that they have high degree of autonomy. It's probably a controversial question to ask, and maybe you are not the people who can change that, but we alumni can help. We can go to the government and say, what is this process? And the involvement of alumni also in governance itself is something to be opened up. So my question really is, do you feel you are truly autonomous, that you are the masters of your own destiny, that you can do whatever you require to make it successful?
So a quick comment will be here. In terms of economy, as you said, maybe little bit not, but when government is giving grants, then certainly there will be some terms and conditions. At the time when IITs will start to earn more and more, as the Professor Pant said, 30%, 50% matching grant, then certainly automatically this autonomy will come. In academics and others, certainly we have command.
I'd just like to add here that it's true that we do have autonomy in education part. The course curriculum, the courses that to be taught, interdisciplinary, the way I said that NEP 2020 and we have implemented. So far as particularly the course content and the education part is there is very much in our control.
But do you have autonomy in whoever you want to hire and whatever you want to pay the professors?
Yes, we have to generate funding for that. So we need to generate funding for that, and I think it is possible because the government says that you have sober alumni, go to the alumni, have your financial model, bring top people, pay them top. It's possible, I would say.
Yeah, there is 100% academic autonomy, and sometimes we follow the law of lands also, right? Because see, we believe in diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? So having said that, we do not compromise with the quality, right? The recruitment process is as per the right policy, and law of land is also followed there, but never compromise with the quality while recruitment of the faculty. So that is one thing. Second thing is that, as Professor Tewari was also raising this, that when the funds are coming from the government and there are certain rules in terms of the purchasing, right, and that is as per the government norms. And for the government funds, we follow that. But if the funds are from the alumni, it is as per the directive of the alumni. There is no constraint from the government side. A professor of practice, they can be paid at any scale, depending upon their experience, right? And there is no restriction from the government side if it is given, donated by the fund. So there can be any awards, right? Number of awards, there is no restriction on that. So there is a complete autonomy, I would say.
I think already said what said, academic autonomy exists, and hence the reason we could able to create a program with two different institutions actually. And it was prior to NEP 2020 which came. And so academics, we can do whatever we want, including executive programs, which becomes a revenue stream for in hybrid mode, online as well as offline. I think most of the IIT is doing it right now. Regarding having professors with negotiated salaries, possibly we are following a structure. Some autonomy exists over there. To some extent, you can play around. And we have some additional provisions now for professor practice and even visiting scholars or scholars in residence. So at the institute level, we can do fairly enough to attract talent. One thing which is not happening within institute, like if I talk about within IITs, it's a kind of rigid still. So if somebody comes, he will come all or nothing. He will come full-time or he will not come. What we should be doing and trying to do is, can we have joint appointments? Which is pretty standard in Western Europe. I have seen it. So a professor can divide his work with 70%, 30% to different institutions, and respective institution actually covers his time stay. And that will be very interesting for at least new institutions where I can borrow it, and they can work with us for a few months, a semester, which we are actually offering if somebody is coming from abroad. So within IIT system, if we can make it slightly more flexible, it becomes much better actually for us. That's my thought.
Another question, slightly different area. Most research today is multidisciplinary. It's not, only engineering or only, have to combine different areas of expertise. One movement, of course, is that you are moving to a multidisciplinary environment within IITs, but also like you said in Jammu that you've already started, collaborations between different institutions to create multidisciplinary centers that truly lead to innovation and applications in society. What progress do you think you're making towards that?
Yes. So I can add, very recently, there is a big initiative started by Minister of Education only, something AI for India, so in three thematic areas they have picked up: agriculture, health, and sustainable cities. And it's a sizable funding by any standard. So next 5 years, translation research, they're funding. So we are IIT Jammu is kind of managing it. We are not participating because we have conflict over there. In that process, complete freedom is being given. And in terms of hiring sectoral experts as well as the top persons. And all the knowledge source which is coming to us in form of the Apex Committee is all industry. There's no academics involved. Because this project is being driven as outcome-based. And we will see this, this will create kind of, and line ministries, when we say Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Health, Minister of Housing Urban is involved with this. So we have a movement over there, actually.
Okay.
I can just add here that this is a consortium type of arrangement which the ministry wants with the other IITs as well. So this is the way that we can come together and have the expertise of the older IITs to the younger IITs, and we can hire the industry as well as faculty or experienced experts from abroad as well. And I can tell you that, sir, if you earn money, you can give it to your, as awards to your faculty, to your students, and to your non-faculty, which is required for the excellence and growth of any institute for that matter. So the ministry, at least at IIT Kharagpur, we have installed, and I can tell you that every year 16 lakhs awards are given for the non-faculty. That they, in fact, they said that it is your money. I said yes, and similarly for the faculty and the students as well. So while I see that financial model is towards that, but we need help more and more from the industry, and here the help from the alumni.
So, you know, one thing that is always, I know that many of the IITs have now incubation centers and so on and so forth. How do you think we are doing in terms of taking research and onto applications and onto commercialization and benefits to the overall public? I know many innovations have come out of it and gone to the market, but we would love to hear where you are on that journey and how good is the IIT system getting at that.
Now, if you see, the IITs are having Section 8 companies. So involvement of students from very much beginning in innovative projects, industry projects, and through these Section 8 companies, bringing it to market. So, yeah. So this way, when the Section 8 companies are there, so it is going to help.
So can I just interject about experience in IIT Bombay? So we have this Section 8 company called Society for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, where we incubate the startups. All the startups are coming from our students and faculty. So this is helping us in translational research, because now every PhD or every research-minded professor looks at possibility of doing a startup. We have done about 220 incubatees in science so far, out of which 54, 55 are now actively involved. We have given them a fantastic facilities, space, a whole floor as a studio where they can make their own models and their own samples, and a lot of mentoring is being done. There is also one-to-one mentoring being done by some expert from the industry to the startup, and the incubatees by and large are very happy with what we are doing. And now we are starting a venture capital fund, which I would like to share with everybody here, that 250 crore initial fund with a green shoe option of another 250 crore, which will to take it totally to 500 crores, to fund our own incubatees around the world. Not necessarily those who are in sign, but even those who are not registered with sign, but are outside, but are promoted by the students or faculty of IIT. So this is going to be a very good initiative.
Please.
Yeah, I'll add, actually, at IIT Kharagpur, we have this STEP, Science and Technology Entrepreneur Park, where we had several big startups, and many of them have done very well. I think AgriNext is there, then IS is there, and I can tell you that we have in agriculture in last 3 years of time, we have about 79 entrepreneurs who have been enlisted, and through whom we are helping through our faculty members in different disciplines and trying to nurture them. And I'm confident that these will go a long way in serving the society that we are talking of today. Thank you.
You were on.
Yeah, I think this is a very good initiative, right, when we talk about this self-reliant India, Make in India concept. And so like just for example, IIT Roorkee, as I said, right, we have a technology incubation hub there. And 150 startups are there, and 15 technologies have been taken by the industry. To initiate this activity, we have also made joint hand with several MSMEs, because we don't want to say all the time that we are supporting only the a kind of multimillionaire companies. We are supporting the MSMEs also, which are nearby industry. And there are a lot of activity which have come, and development of this kind of entrepreneurship skill. For the local states also, we are looking forward for the product development like honey, right? How this honey market can be developed in Uttarakhand, we are working for them, and this will be a very good, I think, example when we talk about the sustainable, right, rural development. There are several herbal products which can be, right, developed in those areas, and we have taken the lead in that, and we are working with several projects with the industry and setting up the industry for them.
One complaint that many times, many of us who visit IITs, as we have grown in size, the infrastructure needs have not kept up. And, you know, obviously, we always, when we were going through there, we prided ourselves in the extraordinary experience, the residential experience, the infrastructure and all that. So I'd love to hear your perspectives on what you think, are you solving that problem? What is needed to really solve that issue?
Yeah, I think this is a big problem that you say, and particularly IIT Kharagpur being the largest, and we have the largest number of students, about 70,000 plus in our campus. And the infrastructure that it should grow has not grown to the extent, maybe we'll have to say that because of the COVID, it added to our pain. I can tell you that we are going through the HEFA loan, which the government gives, and also those who have been declared IOE, through that we are getting certain loan. We are trying to go through that, but I think this is the pain area where we need to revamp our laboratories in different departments, which were meant for 50, maximum 50 students at one time, are being, catering to about 150 students in the same lab. So yes, we need to do in this respect. And therefore, the financial model that you are talking of is definitely true and required for this aspect. Thank you.
Yeah, maintenance of the right existing facility is a big challenge. Like the right, we get the funds for new building construction, like what Professor Tewari was talking through HEFA loan, and there are different guidelines, right? Say roughly 10% you have to pay as a loan. But the maintenance of the existing facilities like building, infrastructure, hostels, these are the big challenges. And like just IIT Roorkee is 176-year-old, right? It's the building which is called Thomso, right? It has its own heritage value. And now, because of the old age, you know that with time, there are several, right, those kind of issues, several hostels. We need the kind of, right, the funds to maintain them. So that is a big challenge. This is, I think, where the alumni can look into.
Sir, last question. How can we help? So we all here, we really are committed to helping the IIT system. If you have one or two requests, so we can take your feedback and then organize ourselves to help you. And so please, let's start from the other end.
So, we are, I would say, the youngest, 2016 started. So what we look for across PanIIT, because we don't have our alumni, only few of them are around. I would like to have more alumni get connected with us and come over, do the mentorship with our young students, our faculty, interact with them. That will be a great help, actually. That connection is what matters.
Sharad, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was going to request you for 30 seconds, and I'll take no more than that. The Bombay IIT is almost 67, 68 years old, and while we have taken very good care of the department infrastructure, the student side lacks very badly. And the hostels are crumbling. Some new hostels are built, which are very good. But still, there is a need for at least 2,500 to 3,000 beds because we are putting students one on top of the other in the bunk beds, where I used to be in one room, single. Now there are two or sometimes even three, which is, and in a crumbling infrastructure. So what is our example, which I want others to also emulate, is our project Evergreen, where entirely student community of almost 500 alumni have funded up to 150 crores rupees to construct a state-of-the-art hostel for 1,200 students. So this model needs to be replicated.
Just
one or two things you want us to do, want us to help. Tell us.
Yeah,
no,
just one point I would like to add here, because you know that our PanIIT alumni, they are unicorn, they have all kind of infrastructure available. Now the Indian, right, the student, the current generation, they have a mindset that only computer and IT is the only branch, right, where they have. And that is something where giving a kind of mindset, right, how these hardcore branches will run, right? So I think if there is a brainstorming session through our alumni and give a kind of at the time of admission that all branches are equally important and how this interdisciplinary, how this multidisciplinary research or education is giving that AI tools are used in every branch of science and engineering. So that kind of, I think, if alumni can just involved in those kind of brainstorming sessions, right? Not only one a particular IT, but among the teams, they can have the, and then they can give offline or online, right? Two different IITs, visit them and give them the kind of right knowledge. So knowledge sharing has become very important, and internationalization of these institutes, how they can have that kind of exchange of students, right? And they can take the internship that is, and beside that, right, the capacity building and maintenance of the equipment, of course, those things are different as well.
Very
Quick,
quickly,
very quick.
two things. One, we don't have alumni, so connection of alumni with
Same.
our IITs, as Manoj said. And second, to connect us, new IITs, young IITs, with industry, with other institutions.
Great. You take the last 2 or 3 minutes to summarize, if you can, in this far-ranging discussion, and any other thoughts you have on yourself.
Yeah, I think it was a very good discussion that we had. We are yet to get an answer to what Rajat has said, that what you want from the alumni. I think I would like to answer that first, because the very first requirement is that in each part, for example, in eastern part, IIT Kharagpur is there, IIT BHU is there, IIT Patna and IIT Bhubaneswar are there. Taking these IITs together, if we can create a good funding of maybe 2,000 crores or so, and have a vision for next 5 years as to which way we are going to help these IITs in terms of the facilities for the students, the laboratory development, and other connect with the industries and the super experts who are available across the globe to bring them here. This is what I would like to say. We have discussed several aspects of the student, the infrastructure, and the way the first generation, second generation ITs should be doing. But fact remains that while we do agree that the educational model and the educational autonomy that we have, academic autonomy that we have, is definitely there with us. To great extent, financial autonomy is also there, but for that part, you have to generate money from your alumni or from industries and the work that you do that is there. We're also talking of how we should make our students job creators and not job seekers. That is another thing that has come to here. Now we are talking of how best the translational research which we are taking involve the bright students who are there, so that they can contribute, and then we can think of what is TRL level 1 to TRL level 9, how they can be taken to the industries. Because we know that these young boys are very bright, and they need a paradigm shift in the education system, the teaching, and involvement of them in the projects. I'm sure they are work alcoholic, they will bring the products. With this, I think I will conclude here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.